I should stop playing app games then.
No, keep playing app games. You're perfectly fine.
It is.
App games, you're perfectly fine. There we go.
It is.
Wait, why are you still playing? App games, you're perfectly fine. There we go.
It is.
Wait, why are you still playing? I don't want to hear myself. Why mute? App games, you're perfectly fine. There we go. Why are you echoing? Oh, stupid. I figured it out. Test, test. Okay. Say something, Derek.
Something, Derek.
Oh, you're cute.
You know it.
All right. All right. 1 second, and we will be good to go.
Yep.
Got to the 2 people watching us right now. Welcome to the show.
Howdy, folks.
We're gonna be trying something new today. So hopefully it works. If it doesn't, it will be hilarious. Where is Twitter on my phone? There it is. There we go. Okay.
I should do that.
All right. Not the. Oh. So, so you remember how you guys were streaming? What was it? Last Monday or Wednesday? I can't remember.
Monday.
And it said like we were streaming the Ren and Snippy show for some reason.
Yeah.
So I updated the podcast and everything, and it said that we were streaming The Office. Like, I have no idea what is going on with YouTube, and its naming.
Are we not able to change it?
No, I changed it, but for some reason, it either autofills at some point in time when you save it, or I don't know. At some point in time, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna say you're playing The Office or Ren and Stimpy or watching the regular show for no apparent reason.
Okay.
Whatever. All right. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Crap. I forget. I can't. All right. All right. Here we go. Welcome to episode 35 of the Secret Caliber podcast. Once again, my name is Mo. With me, I have Derek.
Howdy, folks.
And Corey will be joining us shortly. She's running a little bit late, but she will be joining us very shortly. How have you been doing for the past week or so?
Yeah, getting by.
Okay. So I didn't explain this last time we recorded, but we're trying something new. If you followed the show since the beginning, thank you. What are you still doing, watching and listening to us? Um, but we're starting to go to recording. We used to record every other week. Now we're going to go ahead and start recording every week. So if you're listening to us via audio, you may be confused as to why there are suddenly back-to-back episodes of the podcast. That's why. We started recording every week just to try to get more content out to you guys. And so this is another experiment. If it works and we can keep doing it, expect more content like this in the near future. Along with recording podcast every week, we're also going to try to do a bit more content to the YouTube channel itself. We're going to try to do more Let's Plays. I think me, you, and Corey played Battleborn last week. That was that was a ton of fun.
Yes, even though it was clunky and we didn't do very well at getting things going. It will be better if you actually watched that.
I died in the first 20 seconds and there were no enemies spawned. It was special. So expect more content like that coming down the pipeline here pretty soon. So how have you been doing in the past week or so since we last left you, Derek?
Not too bad. Getting by, working, and doing some non-work. Girlfriend and I are still hardcore marathoning our way through the massive backlog of Critical Role, Geek and Sundry's D&D 5th edition video, which is fantastic. I love it. Love me some D&D, some role-playing. That's really my thing. I like I like games a lot. I talk about a lot of video games here, but tabletop is really my thing. So, and I'm actually getting our role-playing group, getting their feet wet with some 5th edition as well. Finally, one of our members was sick for a couple of weeks, so we got delayed. But I whipped up a kind of a mini campaign. It's really just kind of a dungeon crawl of of some 5th edition.
Right.
Just some just kind of kicking the door dungeon sort of thing. Not a lot of story because I'm good at doing combat and stuff. But I helped them put together some 10th level characters because I wanted them to really kind of get a feel for the game as a whole. Yeah. Also, I wanted to throw some more interesting stuff at them because I get bored coming up with 3rd level encounters. It's like, all right, you're gonna fight some orcs, and now it's some goblins. Now it's a goblin and an orc.
Now it's a goblin who resurrected the skeleton of an orc.
Nope. There's an onkeg. Oh wait, that almost killed you. Shit. So yeah, I wanted to have some fun. I was like,
the first round, it almost killed us.
Yeah. Well, while our player was sick, I just threw slapped together some 3rd level characters for them for the other 3 players real quick, and just gave them like 3 encounters so they could see what it's like. And they fought an onkeg, which I almost melted our bard in one shot. Literally melted because it vomited acid. Then they fought an owlbear, which was cool, and then they fought some dinosaurs because
dinosaurs. Like
there's dinosaurs in the monster manual. So I gotta throw some dinosaurs at them. They fought an allosaurus and a couple of raptors. It was good times. They raffle dumped all of it, mostly because I rolled badly. But yeah, I like me some D&D. Was doing some of that. Yeah, what you been up to?
I recently. Crap! I thought you were gonna talk about. Hold on. I got this.
I could just go. I was going to segue back into Vigima games. I was going to be polite and ask you. I didn't want to talk all the time. So the internet, all 3 of them thinks I'm rude.
Well, crap. Well, here. I already had it set up. Talk about your video game. I'll get it. Damn it, Derek. Okay. 5 minutes in and you fucked it up.
Me and my goddamn social etiquette. So yes, I've also, thank you for asking, Mo, been playing a new app game that I found that my girlfriend and I are pretty addicted to. It's called Solitarica, which is a stupid name and a really cool game. Solitarica, like solitaire with an Ica at the end. I don't know. I really don't know.
Wow.
I really don't know. It's a really dumb name. I don't know if it's like Magica, but with solitaire, but it's not really like Magica. I don't know.
Yeah.
If Mo's internet magic is working, you'll see some video gameplay of it. But basically, the TLDR version is it's essentially set up like a roguelike RPG, but the combat is solitaire, with more in there to make it a lot more interesting than that would be, because that'd be pretty boring.
Right.
There's no like dungeon to crawl through. It's just levels, and each level is just you head to head with one enemy. And basically, you have your deck, and you flip over a card, and the enemy's health essentially is represented by a bunch of columns of cards. You can see the the top card, which is referred to as the front-facing cards. Pretty similar to solitaire mechanics. You have a certain number of columns, and top card of the column visible, for those of you who actually understand solitaire descriptions. And you match in sequence, up or down. Your currently showing card that you flipped over to any of those cards, and then the card you match becomes your active card. So say I flip over a 2, and they've got like a 5, a queen, a 3, a 6, and an 8. So I can match the 2 to the 3, and now 3 is my active, and it reveals like a 5 behind it. And I can match the 3 to the 4, now 4 is my active, and I can match the 5, and I can combo through and do some combo damage.
Right.
Basically. You also have spells, though. The cards don't have suits. They're either attack, defense, agility, willpower, or coins.
Mm-hmm.
The first 4 are 4 different kinds of magic energy, and you collect up that energy up to 10 on the right, and you can use that. You spend that like mana to cast your spells, and so you can cast attack spells, or it might damage one card. You just click on a card and it's gone. You don't have to match it or anything.
Right.
Or you heal yourself, or you give yourself armor, or stun them for 1 round. Every time you have to flip a new card over off your deck because you can't match anything, the enemy gets a turn. They basically flip one of their cards over, and the card is going to be one of their attacks or abilities or something. They're not like playing cards. They just aren't. And so they beat you up. You have your HP over on the side, and once you get rid of all their cards, you win. There's different classes, which changes your 4 starting spells. Most classes have 2 class-specific spells that other classes can't get.
Right.
And also, your deck is all of 2 elements. There's 2 copies of every card in a deck, ace through king, and 1 of each is your 2 elements. So you start out with warrior, which is defense and attack, or you have like rogue, which is agility and attack, or paladin, which is willpower and defense, stuff like that.
Right.
There's 6 classes, 1 for each combination. So it's pretty cool. The game's free to play, but you only get warrior unless you spend the $4 to unlock the game. Then you can use the in-game currency to unlock and upgrade all of the classes, and it's surprisingly fun. It's got some cool, like quirky style to it. The art's good, decent, just like build quality and and good art and stuff.
Okay.
The enemies have also to make it random. You get in between each level, you can go shopping for new items, which give you passive buffs and new spells to equip.
Right.
To change up your build, essentially, which is cool, because you can have like a build in a solitaire game. But also the enemies have you'll get a random enemy from the section that you're in, but the enemies will also get random prefix or suffix modifiers. So
Kind of like a Diablo
like,
3.
Pretty much like that, yeah.
Okay.
They'll essentially, the prefix and suffix modifiers will just add in extra cards to their deck.
Okay.
The enemy will have its own deck, and you'll get like, I don't know, like bomb, which will have certain cards just pop up as bombs. You have to get rid of them before they explode and damage you.
Oh, that's cool.
That kind of stuff. They're just random things. There's a whole lot of different stuff. There's a lot of modified cards, like this card adds a card to its column every turn. If you don't get rid of it, this card changes randomly every turn, so you can't plan on what it's going to be. Shit like that. There's a pretty surprising amount of depth to the game. So, yeah, Solitarica, available on the App Store, free to play as long as you like playing Warrior, and you can either pay $4 and unlock the game, in which case you can just spend up every run. Okay, so I guess I missed a part. It's like a typical roguelike where you play through until you die, and the further you make it, the more in-game currency you get. And then you spend that currency to upgrade the deck, so next time you have a little bit of an advantage. You can also use that to unlock the decks. That's what I was talking about before.
I like that free-to-play model. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And also to make it even more, if you're still not sure, you're like, maybe I want to pay $4, but I'm still like, don't think it's quite worth $4. You can pay $1 and then unlock one other class. So you basically buy the classes $1 at a time, or get all 5 of them for $4. So
nice.
It's really not that bad.
Also, it's coming out on Steam soon. It is on Steam.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, well, the video said it was on Steam, but I didn't catch the year, so it either is already or will be. You can rewind the episode and figure it out.
I'm gonna go check.
Okay. While you do that, let me get Corey into the call. She just showed up.
Yeah.
Crap. There we go. There you go. Hey, Corey.
Yo.
Hey.
All right. For people watching, you're going to have to give me just a few minutes because I have to adjust. I have to adjust
Derek's left side of his face is me, and I'm Derek, but you're still not.
While the visuals are going nutso, Solitarica is currently available on Steam. You can just buy it, I assume, with all the classes unlocked for $10. Which is pretty typical that a PC version of the game is more expensive than the app version. That's pretty common. I've seen other games that are on both platforms. Yeah, I think it's the same game based on everything I'm seeing. Without anything really different. Just with the classes all available.
Keep on delaying. You're doing a good job.
Did you try any of the other classes?
Yeah, I unlocked it and have tried out all of them now. So there's... just to name them off, there's you start with Warrior, that's defense and attack. And there's Rogue, which is agility and attack. Paladin, which is defense and willpower. Monk, which is agility and defense. And Bard, which is agility and willpower. And Wizard, which is attack and willpower. And quick summary, like, attack cards tend to be like, damaging a card. It's like more physical themed stuff. There are some willpower spells that will damage cards, but willpower also has healing and removing enemy effects and stuff like that. Defense is giving yourself armor, stunning the enemy. That's really the primary thing: stunning and defense, stunning and armor. And then agility is manipulating what's going on with the cards to mostly let you keep comboing. Things like you can just re-roll all the front-facing cards. You're like, I don't have any matches, so spend some energy and re-roll them all. See if I have a match now. Or really cool ones where like you'll select one card, and the cards to the left and right of it, like one card each side or 2 cards each side with the higher level version, go in sequence through that card. So like you select like a 5, it'll go. The one to the left will be a 4, and the one to the right will be a 6. Or the higher level version, the 2 to the left will be a 3 and a 4, and the ones to the right will be a 6 and a 7. So they can just be like, bam, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I can see that being real easy to make combos off of in a solitaire style game.
It's kind of really surprising how much they get the flavor of the classes in there, because one, they feel really differently. Like when you're playing Paladin, it's all about like building up tons of armor and constantly healing yourself, and just I'm a tank. I'm just a solid ball of meat wrapped in metal, and you can't do anything about it. Like you feel like a paladin. You don't really dish out a whole hell of a lot, but you've got some magic to back you up, and you are almost unkillable. Whereas Wizard is super fragile. Like you have very little armor, and you can get yourself some healing, obviously, but that's going to detract from your nukes. Which, if you want to focus on the AoE damage spells, that gets you more going that way. But then there's like Rogue. I was really impressed with Rogue as attack and agility, and So attack cards, you can like just click on a card and destroy it. Agility cards, you can reroll cards and change them to keep yourself going. And the rogue also has built-in mechanics for getting extra coins, because you use coins to buy things between missions. So you're a rogue, you get lots of money. That's kind of the idea. Also, though, attack and agility together let you combo really, really well. And when you get a 8-card combo or higher, you get extra more and more bonus gold. So rogues just rake in cash.
Nice.
And so it just works out really well. Like, agility attack is exactly what you expect rogue to be, and it feels really good. And then you also get the flavor of rogues getting tons and tons of money as their benefit. So it's just really cool the way they worked it all out.
Cool. As far as what I've been doing, crap. This is like really
Ruining everything.
This is really hard to do like simultaneously. Hopefully this works. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I recently got back into Magic again. I've been kind of in and out, but I definitely went in this time. And I bought a box of the most recent expansion, Aether Revolt and Kaladesh. And the expansions are actually really cool. They have kind of a an Indian kind of theme to them. And some of the mechanics behind it are really cool. Like in Aether Revolt, for example, there's a mechanic called Revolt where something happens if a creature left the battlefield for any reason, despite what happened to it or where it went to afterwards. An effect happens. There's another effect called Fabricate, where you get like Fabricate 1, where you put a +1/+1 token on this creature, or you summon a 1/1 token, for example.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool, and that's what's
And
kind of
can be really, really broken. Because
yeah,
there's a lot of cards that use the Fabricate thing, like, oh, okay, when it comes into play, Fabricate 1, and then you put it on this thing that when it gets a +1/+1 counter, it does something else, and
Yeah.
so you just and shit breaks.
yeah, and the going theory is that because a lot of the cards will let you go wide on the board, like summon a bunch of 1/1 tokens. So there's a couple of board wipes that are also in Kaladesh as well. White has one, like destroy all creatures, gain life equal to the amount of creatures that died this turn. Black has one, like give everything -2/-2. So there are definitely ways to counter the mass board wipe, or going narrow and pumping up one creature like to the extreme. So there seems to be some kind of counterbalance to the entire effect. But like I said, I got a couple boxes, and I focused strictly on Kaladesh, that block, because Innistrad is about to rotate out come April. They're going to like some Egyptian kind of themed realm, which actually looks really cool. I'm invested in that. But I don't want to throw a bunch of money into the previous block if it's just going to rotate out anyway. So I'm definitely in it for the long run now. I'm looking at going to more Friday Night Magics, trying to see how that goes. Try to get decently competitive, see how that goes, and see if I want to go ahead and continue down that road. But so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
Yeah. What have you been up to, Corey?
Well, I mean, job. If it's any indication by my not being here at the start of the stream, I was supposed to get off at 3:30, and 10 minutes before my shift was over, I got an hour-long call. And then after that, my lead was like, I need to coach you before you leave. I'm like, okay. And he got stuck on a half-hour-long call. And so, fantastic. So I didn't get out of there until 5. But, whatever. I guess that's call center life or whatever.
Right.
And I got an extra hour and a half of overtime for basically not a whole lot.
Right.
Just sitting on a call like I had been all day, so that's whatever. But as far as like fun things go, we've decided that I'm going to the Arizona Phoenix Comic-Con.
Oh,
And
really?
I'm going to be cosplaying with our friend Hippie Dan, his girlfriend, and my roommate Matt. And we're going to be One Piece themed. Hippie's going to be Ace. Matt is going to be Dragon. I'm going to be the female version of Ivankov. Death wink. Yes. I gotta work on my hee-haws. That's gotta come right here. And Hippie's girlfriend Britt is going to be Tony Choppa.
Nice.
It's gonna be fun. And we're gonna have to spend a lot of time on those outfits and get that going. And in the meantime, I'm going to also be working on a D&D campaign, because after Comic-Con, we said since our little group's gonna be meeting up every week to hang out, we might as well do something really fun like play role-playing games.
That's cool.
So I get to spend my free time on the bus writing out all my characters and all their equipment and stats and everything, and hopefully by May something I think is Phoenix Comic Con. This is just gonna get higher.
I think it's between May and June usually.
I know it's in May, so I
Okay.
think it's gonna be like last weekend in May.
Okay.
But after that gives me 4 months to work on an outfit and build a campaign. But I'm in a rough spot of deciding. I've got Pathfinder 3.5 information. I think Derek gave me all of that stuff.
Right.
We also have the books here for 4th edition, but Britt and Hippie have 2 5th edition books. So I've never done 5th edition. I have done 4th edition, and I've done Pathfinder, which is basically 3.5.
Yeah.
So I have a huge choice selection here, but I don't know which one I should go with, because, 5th is
have
supposed
played
to be...
4th edition?
Yeah, isn't that what
You
we
have-
did?
No, we played 5th edition, I think.
Oh, that was 5th?
Yeah, I was gonna say probably not 4th edition if you don't have a lot of experience with it. 4th edition it's perfectly cool. Plenty of haters out there will hate on it, but it's different, not worse. I have preferences, but 4th ed is complicated. It is I don't want to say complicated. It is complex. It is mechanically deep. It's the powers system. So
Okay. So yeah, I
Yeah.
must have skipped that one and went to 5 and thought 5 was 4.
we played 5th.
Okay.
That's what's right. I convinced you to run the thing in 5th. I was gonna say 5th edition is solid. Also, they've got some more content out, because I like the 5th edition system a ton. It has the mechanical balance that 4th edition had, where it's very, very strictly balanced, which is sorely lacking in 3rd edition, even in Pathfinder.
I can agree with that.
And yeah, and also they do an even better job of controlling vertical progression than 4th edition did, which 4th edition still has plenty of it, but 3rd edition it was out of control. Like a 10th level character is 100 times more powerful than a 1st level character, easily. Like the stuff you were fighting 2 weeks ago when you were 3 levels lower, based on typical campaigns, you would just like piss on it, its head would cave in. So, whereas in 5th edition they control the numbers a lot. Like, your proficiency bonus goes from +1 to from +2 to +5 between like levels 1 and 20. Like that's really strict control. You have to like almost like limit break to get a stat above 20. Which is good. I like it a lot. You still get a lot more powerful, just not exponentially more powerful.
Right.
So yeah, 5th ed's good. I would say the only issue I had with 5th edition is it was missing some content for someone like me, who's an experienced role player who wants to have a lot of options to throw around. And they've gotten some more of that. They which it's I was going to point this out specifically because it's kind of easy to miss. They haven't been doing the 3rd edition thing where there's released like expansion books, like here's a book with 8 new classes in it and 75 new spells and 300 more pieces of gear. Like they'll have basically a new adventure path come out, and then for the big ones they'll have an adventurer's guide, which is basically like an expansion of the PHB. So it's a lot of it will be like reflavoring a lot of the existing classes and class archetypes. If you remember in 5th edition, there was like different class archetypes for each class.
Yeah,
They're really
like
pushing that. They're not
after
doing new classes.
Like
3,
level 4,
usually.
3? Yeah.
3 is almost always where it is. Certain spellcasters are different. Primary spellcasters tend to get it at 2 or 1. But yeah, the class archetypes. I don't think they have released any new classes. They're doing pretty much everything through archetypes, which I generally support. It is
Yeah, that's fine. More
like,
options is better, and also if you already get invested in a character and something new comes out, you don't have to make a whole new one. You can just start putting points in it.
Right.
exactly.
Or-
But yeah, so in the adventurers guides, a lot of it will be reflavoring existing archetypes to fit the setting. Like this is what a cleric of this order tends to be like here. It tends to cover these kind of things, but they'll also throw in some new archetypes that have totally new content, and they have a couple of those. Also, the Elemental Evil one added 4 new base player races, and another one added in like 3 or 4 more on top of that. So there's some more races, which I'm fully in favor of.
Nice.
Especially because they're kind of going out of the box. They added in classics like Goliath and Genesee, which are cool. I like both of those classes, both those races a lot. But they also threw in Deep Gnomes, which are Sverfneblin, which you'll probably remember from our campaign, as well as Aarakocra, which are bird people. Like this is a base player. This is a base player race with a fly speed and a natural weapon attack. Like it's basically a monstrous race. They just like here, have that. You've got a fly speed of 40, and claws on your feet. Have fun.
Go
all day, every day. That's
yeah.
You're a
Sounds
bird.
like fun.
That's amazing. I'm like I don't know if I would let a player play that because I don't feel like dealing with 3D movement as a GM. But that's really cool.
No, you just have them get shot a lot, basically. Oh, look, your wings are broken for the 3rd combat in a row.
Like all enemies now have thumbs and bows and arrows. It's weird how that works.
You attack the bear. The bear shoots an arrow at you.
It's got
The bear flies up and hits you.
it's got a crossbow turret on its back. A mad mage has attached animated crossbows to all of the wildlife. Deal with it. But yes, there's a lot of cool stuff. So you have to look for those adventure paths. There's Elemental Evil and I think 2 others. One of the ones recently added a bunch of new archetypes. There's some cool stuff in there, like a monk archetype that basically makes you a DBZ character. Your unarmed attacks are range 30 and deal radiant damage.
Cool.
And you can Hadouken things. You just get an at will 20-foot AOE exploding Hadouken. It's awesome. Lots of cool stuff. So yeah.
That reminds me, there's a recent card in the Kaladesh set that's pretty much a spirit bomb. It's a artifact. Every spell you cast this turn, gain a life. Tap it, deal 50 damage to yourself and 50 damage to target creature or player.
Wow! Wow!
That's fun.
Yeah.
Wait, so how much does it cost?
It's like a 2 or 3 mana artifact.
Let's say it should be 2 or 3.
Yeah, but to activate it, it costs 50 life.
Yeah, but okay, it says like spend. It's like tap and spend 50 life.
Correct.
It's not tap, deal 50 damage.
No,
to yourself
no.
Because that would be so stupidly exploitable.
No. It's tap, deal 50 damage to yourself and 50 damage to target creature or player.
Okay. Like if it's part of the cost.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
If it was deal damage to yourself and then like redirect, now you take 100 damage. Ooh. I'm a smart one.
Yeah.
Even though you can't stack damage anymore, you can still probably
thank
do something.
Thank the Lord. That's why I quit playing Mirrodin because of stupid shit like that.
Well, no, stacking damage was good. That made a number of classic cards like Mog Fanatic totally worthless. Where you can't stack combat damage anymore. You can't like put damage on the stack and then
do something.
This thing.
Yeah.
Like Mog Fanatic.
It's your creatures.
Goblin. Yes. Yeah, like I'm gonna block with this creature and then bounce them. Yay! Or like I'm gonna block with Mog Fanatic and then sacrifice it to deal that creature 1 damage. It killed your 2/2. Sweet. But no. Mog Fanatic just dies, does 1 damage to something else.
Yeah.
And no one
I guess
likes Mog Fanatic.
you still get the block from it though. If they were attacking and blocked with it, it's still considered block.
But you can't stop 2 creatures. Because before you could like block like they come out with like 2 ball lightning. You got a 6/1 and a 6/1. You're like, I'll block that one, put damage on the stack, and then I'll block that one before damage goes on the stack. I'll sacrifice it and kill that one, and I take no damage. They both die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or one dies. But
One
the other
dies, and the other one dies anyway when you sacrifice it in a turn.
Yeah. No one cares.
But outside
Make
of that,
logs to not suck.
I'm halfway through Deep Space Nine now. I'm at like
Nice.
halfway through
Yes.
season 4, so maybe a little bit past the halfway point because I think there's only 7 seasons.
Yeah, you're getting to the good bits.
Yeah, I gotta say, I already said this on Facebook, but I think my favorite character in all of Star Trek that I've seen so far now is Garrick.
Yes.
I fucking love
Garrick is so
Friend Matt would
good.
agree a lot. I like him a lot too. I'm gonna say this again, just to once again encourage you to actually watch it after you finish DS9 and Voyager. Watch Enterprise, because my favorite character, probably out of any Star Trek character, is from Enterprise.
Okay.
I'll have to sit down and watch it. Eric just finished.
You do have to.
Eric just finished
I already told you.
Eric just finished Next Gen. He's like, I have nothing else to watch, and Enterprise only has 4 seasons. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll watch it. Roll
It's good.
eyes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Slightly
Oh.
different.
I also recently just watched The Girl Who Leapt Through Time for the first time, and cried my fucking face off at it. Goddamn Miyazaki knows how to make a goddamn anime. Too bad he's not around anymore to make me cry even more, but whatever.
Speaking of movies, I watched Sucker Punch over the weekend.
for the first time.
Yes.
Well, welcome to like 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's usually my territory to miss out on something like that for a long time.
Like, I think some friends came over and we were like, we need an icebreaker. And Eric was like, let's watch Sucker Punch. And they watched it and I was like, what is this movie? Like,
yeah, that's a good thing.
what
What is this movie besides weirdly entertaining?
like, that's the thing. Like, a friend of mine asked him, was it good? And I was like, it's not bad. And I can...
Well,
I
I
would
get
ha-
the feeling that a lot of the point of it is lost on you if you are not sexually attracted to the female body. Like,
There is
there's a-
of the movie that's not really focused toward you. I think there's like 1 or 2 shirtless dudes throughout the movie. Like, you have to kind of, like lean over to see around the butts and legs. But
But I can appreciate like what it was trying to do with like the beginning setup and with the asylum and the swap to like the whorehouse and then random swaps to like samurais with chain guns and killing dragons. Like, I get it. I appreciate it. It's a very pretty movie and I get what you're trying to do. But what did I watch? Like, I don't...
you gotta take
You
it
have-
as it is. It is
Yeah.
it is the Expendables, basically. Like, I am
Right,
not going
right,
to watch
right.
that because of the story. I'm not going to watch it because I want to get emotionally invested in a deep character that goes through a change and learns something and comes out different on the other side. I'm going to watch this guy get a motivation to go blow things up, and then I'm going to enjoy blowing things up. And then afterwards, I'm going to be like, remember when that thing blew up? And he'll be like, yeah. And that one-liner? Oh, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's...
I would say a more accurate like comparison would be it's like heavy metal, because I kind of got some heavy metal vibe out of it.
Yeah, I can
Because
definitely
again,
see
like
that.
you watch heavy metal and you're like, you don't go, what did I just watch? You go, holy shit, that was awesome, and that's it. No other response to heavy metal.
Yeah. Oof.
At 20 minutes from now, I'm gonna have to back out because I'm gonna have to go to bed not too long from now. I know that's a little bit early, but
That is perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and jump into our topic.
Yes.
Oh.
can I do a quick story?
Yes, go for it.
It's not like really deep, but basically I saw an ethics post pop up on Kotaku on Action and Reddit. There's this developer that created a game on Steam called The Sorceress, and I'm trying to find the name of the developer so I can call them out on it. But essentially, Carabas Studio, and I don't think they're native English. I'm pretty sure they're Russian, but
Right.
I was hoping to archive the post before it went away, but it didn't archive, so they already changed everything. But
Aw.
someone took a screenshot of it. What they had done is on their Steam page, they put a big list of accolades for what their game had won at different awards, and they had like this Russian game show. It got like best some kind of scripting or like a great AI and all of this stuff. It had like 7 or 8 accolades from different conferences and things. And none of them were true. Some of them were from conferences that haven't even taken place yet this year. Some of them were completely fabricated. They didn't even exist. And so someone called them out on it and made like a big post, a big review, and they're like, hey, this game's got a bunch of fake stuff. And they got banned from the community forum. Of course, because the developer didn't want that shit going viral. So...
Yeah.
After it kind of went big and a lot of people started posting on it, the Steam store page went down, and now it looks like they took everything off of there and they just put the basic bare bones info on, and there's none of that left. But this brings up an interesting question, in my opinion, because is there anything you can do about that? Because I'm pretty sure it's not exactly false advertising because they didn't lie about what the actual game content was. And you can't call the developer out on it on their own forum because they're able to delete and ban users and get rid of posts, and Steam has no control over that. That's part of their agreement with their developers, is that you control the community hub, you control your store page, we just host it. And since it wasn't a false advertisement, is there any recourse for a user on Steam to say, hey, that award you're saying you have is bullshit? Because it doesn't seem like there is. And the only reason it got taken down was someone noticed. Because, I mean, honestly, it's a shitty little game on Steam, and it looks like it's like it might as well be Diablo 2.
Oh, wow.
With like a 3D movable camera. It looks just god awful.
Right.
But say someone was like, oh, hey, I know this trade show. I've been there before, and it got like best platformer. That's pretty amazing. I'll go give it a buy. Like, you would totally buy that under false pretenses, and there's nothing you could do about that?
I'm really curious as to... I feel like that would qualify as false advertising,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I think there is a case for that. I mean, if anything, like, that's not subjective information. Like, I can put whatever I want, like, best game you will ever play. This game will make you explode, and then implode, and then explode again. So, like, it's all platitudes and bullshit. Like, it's all completely subjective. But saying, I won this award when I didn't, or I won this award that I made up, that's just an objective lie. So I think there should be some pretty solid, backup there for going to Steam and being like, hey, this is objectively false. They're lying on their store page in your store. Do you want your store to be, selling lies?
Right.
And
I definitely...
they're probably going to be like, no.
I think that's a definite case for the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, because if that were any other product, they would instantly get the bad hammer from them. Like, nope, this is wrong. And I think the simple fact that Steam is so ambiguous in a way, like, normally you would, just video games in general, you would never, that kind of thing never really comes up. It's only recently with, like, the YouTubers not disclosing their YouTube videos being ads for a product.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Paid promotions, paid content.
Right.
That.
That's the first time the FCC or whoever controls that actually has stepped in and said, hey, this is a problem. You shouldn't be doing this. I just think the gaming has gone under the radar for so far that no one has really thought about this until now.
Because I also remember someone saying that games that have like a mismatched genre on them should also be classified as false advertising. Because say if like the only videos on the store page are of like the story or like some trailer for it, and it says like turn-based RPG and it's an action RPG or vice versa, and you get into it and you're like, this isn't what I wanted, would that be false advertising because they mislabeled the genre? I think so.
It depends.
But like, do you have a case to get your money back if it was past the refund time or something like that?
I say yes. Because that's side tangent. I know you got short time. I don't want to get into it, but that's a major issue I have with Steam. Is that if you go under every genre, action, adventure, RPG, odds are you will find the same fucking game listed under every single of those genres. And I know, like, I think Tomb Raider was under RPG, and I was like, bitches, just because you can equip an item doesn't make you an RPG. For real now. And there's
But I have a level system. I'm an RPG.
no
He
Borderlands.
does not have experience points anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like calling Borderlands an RPG. You're not an RPG. You shouldn't be under that classification.
Yeah.
And it becomes a bit more ambiguous. Like with Borderlands, for example, Borderlands isn't necessarily. It's got RPG elements. Does that make it an RPG? Yeah. You've got gray areas that games are starting to fall into.
Yeah. But I just imagine like someone going to the movies and being like, I wanted to watch a comedy and this is a rom-com. Can I get my money back? Like, I guess. I mean, I would go in expecting this and I kind of got that. Should I be able to get my money back? I feel like a lot of people would just laugh at you. And if you did that here, they might. But I think there's a pretty good case for that.
Well,
I just don't feel like it's supported that much because they're like, we expect you to understand before you buy it.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a case. I honestly, personally, I think there is.
In this case, definitely with the mislabeled genre, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the story then.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully this works. Please work. Here we go. All right. So, a new hotness has entered the battlefield called EarlyNinja. Now, viewers and listeners of the podcast know we're not necessarily warmed up to early access games for the simple fact that they tend to a lot of times fail. We've been through this all before. I don't want to cover it again. EarlyNinja is a Kickstarter that believes they've come up with a solution. Here's the short of it. So if you're a developer, you go to EarlyNinja and say, hey, I got this early access game. I want you to not publish. I want you to be someone like a Steam-like place to host this game. So what EarlyNinja does is they say, okay, here are milestones for you.
I like this already.
When people donate, when people buy your game, we retain the money. If you reach a milestone, we'll dole out a certain portion of that money to you to work on it. If you miss a milestone, we keep the money. If you go to completion, we will give you 100% of the money that has been accrued from people buying your game. On the surface, this is good for us. Like, this is exactly what we wanted. But on the back end, developers hate this. Not necessarily because they can't do the early access thing and steal your money and run away with it.
That is true.
That's
but
true.
Legitimate developers also hate it for legitimate reasons.
Correct. Okay. So I'll post this in the show notes. There's a big long reason. This is from Polygon, by the way. There's a lot of people have chimed in on it, but okay, stop playing. I'm done with you. Stop. Work in progress. So
I'm going to guess they take a cut of the money, and developers don't like that.
They take.
Well, they do, but that is actually the issue.
They take 15%
Okay.
of whatever you make.
I mean,
but the problem is, so an early access game goes into early access because they say, here's 80%. We need money to get to the extra, 100%. And so the money is front loaded. I give you money in hopes that you complete the game. EarlyNinja runs counter to that. It says, we'll take the money and we'll just dole it out to you until you make it, which doesn't make any sense because the reason why you go into early access is because you want the money now, not later.
Yeah. Basically, they're going in the wrong order. You reach a milestone. Basically, you pay your studio a bunch of money, do a bunch of work to reach the milestone, and then they give you the money that you needed to pay them.
Correct.
So
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's fine as long as you can set the milestones. Like if you work with them and be like, all right, we're at 60% completion on this project. We have a playable demo. We can put that out on the store so people can get into early access on it. We put some money down and have like the next milestone be something achievable in the next week or two, and then have another milestone achievable in a week or two.
Yeah.
If you could segment it like that instead of it being like, all right, we get our first paycheck from EarlyNinja in 3 months. Yeah, I would totally say that sounds terrible for the developers. But if it was on a milestone cycle that was really reasonable for them, I think that's fine. But again, what happens then if you're like, okay, we need to add this like level in 2 weeks, and then
Right.
you have a huge crash that happens with it, and you're just not able to.
That. Like, if things change, like, 'cause that's the whole point. Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to get the point of early access and or Kickstarter. When it does what it's supposed to do, because I still have faith that it can be great.
Mhm.
It just often isn't. It's supposed to be the developers essentially bringing in the audience of the game to be like, hey, this is where we're at, help us finish. And then there's transparency and there's back and forth, like, okay, these things changed, stuff happened, we need to rework this pipeline, so that's why we're pushing this back and moving this forward. You guys cool with that? Okay, cool, work with us, we like you guys, sweet, money, and we'll finish the game, yay. Like, you have EarlyNinja in the middle going, you need to get to milestone 3 before you get any more money. Like, and that, it's not just like that's like not ideal. That's everything that makes the game finish or not. And you're putting that fully, like, you have to sign away your right to any of that. Like, we can't have, like, we as the developer can't have any of the money unless EarlyNinja gives it to us. And them giving the right amount of money to us at the right time when we need it determines whether or not we're capable of finishing the game. So it's just like going, okay, sure, I will pay you to hold this knife to my throat. Like,
Yeah.
really, like, there's no incentive. Also, there's a whole bunch of legal stuff to where like some lawyers came in, which apparently might be a foreign concept to Legal Ninja or to EarlyNinja from the sound of it, because apparently them being capable of doing any of this legally might or might not really be a thing.
Mhm.
Like, it's really, really weird gray area. But also as one line that Polygon put in there that summed up is, I'm going to find it just so I can not misquote it. But
I'd say while you're looking for that, I guess what people need is kind of reassurance that they aren't going to just take the money and run. That's what everyone's worried about, because we've seen it happen a million times with a million games, and it is scary. You're like, okay, this is a cool concept. I would love to see it come to fruition. Here, take my money, and me, Fry handing his money out, and then you don't get a game.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I kind of feel where they're coming from, but maybe what we just need is some kind of like certification where if you are a developer and you say, I want to have early access, you have to join this like group, and you're like part of their certified group, and if you don't make your game, then you lose that certification, and then people would know, hey, this person's not part of the certified early access group, they're probably a shady developer.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's like my most outside of like doing this where you're controlling the money in some way. I don't know how you're supposed to keep people from taking the money and run.
Yeah.
I would agree. So basically, right now, word of mouth is what you've got, and I think some sort of structured oversight, a third-party organization could make that a lot more efficient. Of course, then you centralize it, and that, besides making it much more efficient, also makes bribery much more efficient, and makes corruption much easier, which I wish wasn't a problem, but it is.
Right.
Found the line, though, that I was trying to say before.
Go ahead.
This one kind of sums it up. EarlyNinja is describing a service that is part publisher, part consultancy, and part storefront. This is enough to tie anyone in knots.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing. Like, they're trying to be 3 different things, and it's not really also all that clear if they know how to be any of them.
Right.
And then there's the whole, like, whether or not they're really competent while they have the knife to your throat. Promising that it'll be okay.
Right.
Like, it's just really...
And I appreciate what EarlyNinja does, because they threw out a stat like 3 out of 4 games in early access just aren't released. There was a study, there's a link in the Polygon article from GameIndustry.biz. They did this report and they researched it, and yeah, about 3 out of every 4, or 3 out of 4 games just aren't released out of early access. So I understand that we need some checks and balances somewhere in place for consumers. The problem is that I don't think we need EarlyNinja. I think Good Old Games or Steam need to do that. I don't think we need another intermediary to do that job.
That's true. I guess if it was like, so Steam has a developer want to put a game on their platform and they're going to release it in early access. And I guess, milestones can be pushed forward and back. The field goal can move or maybe just completely change into something else. So you don't want to tie it down too much. But I would assume if your developer for that game hasn't posted an update or, anything in a couple months, it might be reasonable to just put that project on hold so more people don't spend money on it. Revoke the ability for people to put money on it.
Yeah. Temporarily, just put on the storefront, like in place of the buy early access button, just put this game has been temporarily removed from early access purchasable. Just let them know, and I don't think that's that big of a deal, because then if the developer's like, oh shit guys, we didn't do this thing and Steam has got us locked, we need to do the thing, and then they do the thing. And Steam is like, cool, you're good now, and they post on the
at least a thing.
Apology.
Even if you can't do the thing, just make sure you're putting updates out there. You're adding content in, you're updating it, or keeping in contact with your community at all. Because a lot of those games, the developer is deep in the woods trying to fix all their bugs and get the game working, but they forget to tell that to anyone. So they're sitting there for like 5 months and people don't know what's going on.
So Corey mentioned something about removing games that are abandoned in early access. Do you guys remember the early access game Towns? Does that ring a bell at all?
No.
It was a game. It was the No Man's Sky back in the day. It was like, we're going to do all this like isometric. They wanted to do like a Diablo style thing. It was a huge project. And so everyone jumped on the bandwagon and bought the early access game. And it made a ton. It made a couple million just from early access alone. And the developer abandoned it. Like, they publicly said, hey, we can't work on this anymore because of whatever reason. But the kicker is...
We're too busy swimming in giant pools.
But the kicker is, the game is... I just checked it out. The game is still on Steam, and you can still purchase it. Even though the game is abandoned. The developers come out and said that this game is no longer going to be worked on anymore. Like, that is a problem. That is a huge problem.
Yeah,
and for
Steam
$15.
Yeah,
yes. Steam in general has adopted a very, or as from the start, pretty much had taken a very hands-off sort of thing with developers, which I can get the reasoning behind it. Like, they're a platform, they're a store. We're not gonna be the government of the internet to dictate gamedom,
right?
Especially when most of your revenue comes from like EA and BioWare and stuff. You're not going to try and tell them what to do.
Yeah.
But I think there is probably a middle ground where you do anything, and it's helpful.
Yeah.
At minimum, reactively.
Yes.
Especially since the entire concept of early access, I think, is basically a Steam thing. Outside of that, it would have been like paid betas. That's like the closest thing you could do, and most people do just like registering kind of for betas. You hardly ever have to like buy it. I think for a while there, people were packaging betas into other games and be like, hey, when you buy this game, you get to have the beta for this other game. And then you're like, oh, get me to drop $50 on this so I can get a demo of this game. Okay, whatever. But they kind of pioneered the early access, and there was a lot of games that used it. I mean, specifically...
Eric's
Minecraft.
Kerbal Space Program is a good example.
Yeah, Kerbal.
Yeah.
Darkest
there's a ton of games
Dungeon.
that wouldn't have been possible without this project. So I don't think anyone wants to see it go away. Definitely. But there needs to be some kind of like curation for it where we can go, okay, this project came out. It like, let's look at Towns here. It released on November 7th, 2012. not released, but it went to early access then,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $15, and it's still up on there even though they're not updating it at all. I think somewhere between there and not having it at all is a reasonable spot where we can go, okay, this game hasn't been updated in X amount of time. Let's get in contact with the developer, ask them what's going on, and if we don't get a response or a good reason, just take their button off. I know that's like Steam's cookie jar, and people want to come in there and grab it, and they're like, oh, if we close the button, then they won't give us money anymore. Yeah, I kind of get that, but at the same time, you are kind of ruining your own platform with this.
Exactly.
It's a cancer, and we need to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. To wrap it back to EarlyNinja, I can easily be accused of being overly trusting and overly optimistic, as you may have noticed on this show. That is my shtick here. I am the optimistic guy, while these two schmucks rant about how everything sucks.
Was that our dynamic? I think I'm doing my part pretty well, though.
But that said, some folks here are crying out that EarlyNinja is a scam. They're swindlers. They're just trying to take your money. I am giving them the benefit of a doubt, and this is kind of a really double ultra backhanded compliment, as it were. But I don't think they're scam artists or swindlers.
No, I don't either.
I think, frankly, I don't think they're competent enough to be that. I think EarlyNinja is like a really great idea that you should have stopped and gotten sober and then realized, maybe not.
Yeah,
That's really what I feel like. 'Cause, like, we sitting here have basically just come up with our own version of EarlyNinja, just making Steam do it instead. But like, we're not actually going to go out and kickstart this shit. Like, we know that we're just like three drunk idiots on the internet. They need that self-awareness. I think EarlyNinja lacks self-awareness. They don't know how high they are.
And I
That's
think
the problem.
Even if they take EarlyNinja and say, okay, we're not going to be a Steam or a Good Old Games because that's dumb. We're not going to hold your money and be a pseudo publisher because that's dumb. Okay, so instead, we're going to become an agency like the ESA. We're going to say, hey, we will scour through all the early access games and say, give a rating on a confidence rating on what we think, doing like how many times has the publisher gotten to their community, how long have they been in early access, are they doing DLC and still in early access, looking at you, Ark survived, like things like that. That is a good idea. Like, give us money to be a body to investigate this. Yes, I am all up for that. Take my money. Why aren't you doing it now? Don't be this pseudo publisher thing, because we don't need that.
Yeah, and it's probably not legal either, according to people who know about law who aren't me. Also, though, on the note of that, again, this is a great idea, and now you need to go, okay, we're going to become this agency to, monitor and accredit the game, the early access community. Now, can we hire a bunch of lawyers to make sure we're not doing things we're not supposed to and getting sued, and 85 temps to actually
do that? Yeah,
9,000 early access games and make sure all of them meet all of these criteria, because logistics are also important besides just idea. Like, this is we're at the idea guy stage of game development, equivalent to making this an actual company. It's like, I got this idea for a game. Like, that's where we're at. You need everything else. The other 99%.
I don't think it'd be hard to take a list of games that are still in early access that came out 2 years ago. Like, anything that came out in 2015 that's still in early access, take a hard look at those. And anything before that. Like, if it's 2015 or older and it's still in early access, I think you have full reason to scrutinize it. If your game can't be finished in development when it was already in a demoable state 2 years ago, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And then maybe not even like shut them down, maybe just like have some kind of help support line, have like a Steam developer help page, like, why aren't you guys getting your shit done? Are you having problems? You have like
Honestly,
some kind
I
of
think-
community forum?
I think I would just go like an IMDb or a Rotten Tomatoes kind of thing, and just be like, just give them a rating. Like, we just rate them.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
I
Because
would-
frankly, the logistics involved in rating all of those, again, I agree with you 100%. It's not hard. It is time consuming. And you have to hire a bunch of employees to do that. And then make sure you have insurance and benefits for all of them, and overhead, and a lot of things, because running a business ain't easy.
That's temp. Like you said, temp. That's a temp agency thing. You just
I
have a bunch
suppose,
of
yeah,
people.
temp it
Because
out.
like the initial
Or hire people
like
from China.
curation of all of that is going to be the huge time sink, but like the regular maintenance of it is probably not
Yeah.
going to be that bad.
Let's
And
go
I'm
rest
sure,
of the-
and you say that, but I'm sure there's people that would willingly, like, hands up, would you do that? Like, take some time out of your day to be like, all right, we're going to let you get access to these early access games to fiddle around in them for a little while, see where they're at in progress, talk to the developer, and then give it a rating.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there'd be a ton of people that would sign up for that.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think the most realistic way to do it, not necessarily like super likely to pull it off, but if you could, it would be great. Like basically Wikipedia. It's Wikipedia
Mm.
doesn't have employees. It's massive and it's amazing and it's functional and it's 100% like a little bit of donations a year, and like I think 2 digits of people worldwide actually employed with thousands of volunteers
Yeah.
just making it work because they care. Like, that would be the thing. Like, basically just be create a central hub for a community. Like, I'm going to put up a real forum with structure and hire some mods, and then let all the people who already do this come to one place and use a single set of standards and guidelines.
Mhm.
Like, that would be pretty feasible. Again, probably a lot more work than I'm giving it credit for, but a
Mhm.
lot less work than the other things that are way more work.
Yeah.
So,
Like
Yeah.
starting up an entire new platform to host games on and then dole out money based off of milestones. Yeah, that could be a little hard to set up.
Just a little bit. Do we have any closing thoughts?
Your
Right, your
mom's
high-
legs.
What?
I don't know.
uh.
And I'm out.
my holding thought, write down your ideas or record them, because writing is hard. And then get sober, and then listen to them or read them before you go open a Kickstarter. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, you get laughed at by lots of people on the internet, like EarlyNinja.
Yeah, like early Ninja. If you're listening to this, A, why? B, good idea. Good idea. Like we're really grants. This is a good idea. This is definitely needed for the problem of early access. Something needs to be done. I think lower the bar just a little bit. Bring down your expectations.
Lower the bong just a little bit, and come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll probably. I mean, I get it. I've been there, man. You think everything's awesome, do it. Just give it a day.
Yeah.
All right, I know we're already signing off, but I gotta go. I'm already crashing.
All right, no problem. Bye, Corey.
Bye, internet. Bye, guys.
Bye. All right. So let me fix these really quick. 'Cause it's about to get jacked up. Do you have any anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Not that much.
Mm-hmm.
I tried and failed to stream some Gigantic last week. I mentioned during the stream, when everyone else was bailing out, that I might go stream some Gigantic. It didn't work all that well because the internet here is good enough for me to do this, but not good enough for me to do this while playing an online game.
Yeah.
So that might have to wait a bit. I might be able to get it going without video, like without face cam, because I was trying to run it face cam. Because I had the awesome, my laptop came with NVIDIA Shadowplay, and it's so cool. I don't know how to use like 95% of it, but it's really cool. And I've heard people who do know what they're doing say it's really cool. So I wanted to make it work, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So
You're now Corey now
Whoopsie.
for the rest of the podcast because I don't feel like adjusting shit.
upgrade.
I'm gonna buy Resident Evil 7, and I'm gonna play it because I've been not trying not to spoil myself with like listening to other people talk about it and watching YouTubers. Which, by the way, YouTubers, stop putting spoilers in your thumbnails. Stop putting
Yes.
spoilers in your titles. Please
Yes.
stop. That is the dumbest thing. Like, I understand you want to get clicks, but stop that shit. That's annoying.
Yeah.
So I've been like clear of YouTube for the past few days before I start playing this game. I think I'm gonna start doing that just to get some content on our beautiful YouTube page. If you haven't been there yet, go to youtube.com, Google the Secret Calliva podcast because we don't have a
Because we don't have a
we,
URL.
we don't have
And
a
then-
custom URL.
Okay, so that we can have a URL, please.
Yes,
We
search
don't-
search the Secret Cal level on YouTube. Get us a subscription so we can get our custom URL.
Have your,
But
have your mom do the same thing so we can get another subscription. She's not going to notice anyway.
but yeah, I'm gonna play that. It's gotten really good reviews. God, I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember, so it probably was not important. Before we go, I forgot to plug our things. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to our YouTube page. Facebook page. Facebook.com/The Secret Cow Level Podcast or The Secret Cow Level. I can never remember which one it is.
Podcast.
Secret Cow. Facebook.com/The Secret Cow Level Podcast. Give us a favorite there. If you got any questions, send us a email. thesecretcowlevelpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @TSCL Podcast. That is it. If you don't have anything else you want to talk about or say, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening and watching to episode 35 of the Secret Caliber Podcast. You guys have a nice night.
Bye, folks.